XRP is an established currency. Folks, in today's update, we're going to remind everybody that as a matter of law, XRP is not a security, and that according to the 2015 settlement with the Department of Treasury and FinCEN, we understand, and as Chris Larson describes it, we're crystal clear about XRP being a currency, a virtual currency at that, but nonetheless a currency, commodity, under the jurisdiction of the CFTC, not the SEC. And the investment contracts that were created by Ripple, yes, they did include XRP, but it was never about XRP being a security. It was the packaged up investment contract that Ripple offered to institutional investors. Selling XRP programmatically to exchanges, not a security. Other distributions, not a security. What is the SEC going to appeal on? We don't know yet, but I'm going to read off some interesting documents, prior court precedent that we have at the Second Circuit Court of Appeals and the SEC getting shot down. You're not going to want to miss this episode. Let's get right on into it. Everything's at ZachRector.com, and I couldn't do it without you, so thank you for the support. Let's start off by talking about money, and we're talking about God's money, gold and silver. In this case, silver up above $33 per ounce today. So how about that one for silver, folks? Up above $33 midday trading, closed out at $32.44.5. But midday intraday trading, we did peak out above 33, a critical level here at 32. They've been trying to hold this one down, and they do not want to let it break because there's really not much standing between these levels and that $50 previous all-time high. And I think that we just got a glimpse of what could be coming. See, $33 silver came right as oil started to spike on news that Israel is considering bombing Iran oil facilities, refineries, and other distribution centers. So oil spiking on that news. At the very same time, silver also takes off to $33, a critical mineral, critical commodity. And as we've been saying, this is a currency, commodity, and now a kinetic war where the troops and the tanks and the Air Force and the rockets are being sent across here. This is a real war. But it's not just the kinetic war that's fought on the ground. It's a matter of currencies and commodities and who has them. Health Ranger Mike describes the situation very perfectly here. You are witnessing the final chapter collapse stage of the United States government. Every single federal agency is either incompetent and useless or weaponized against the American people. I'd love to talk with Mike about my red folder and the damages done to the XRP community. But this is just one case. As he says, they've been weaponized against the American people. This isn't just the SEC, much more than that. Mass looting of the Treasury via money printing, foreign aid racketeering is in its final blowout stage. How many more handouts can they get, right? How many more handouts can they give before this thing implodes? The courts have collapsed into insanity. Tina Peters sentenced to 9 years in prison. She's a whistleblower. Went after Dominion. 9 years in prison. More on that probably in the Discord weekly call tomorrow. Can't really talk about it here. The rule of law has collapsed, and the rule-based international order is nothing but a global criminal cabal run by the West, looting and pillaging the world for resources and cash, currency and commodity war, as I said. Critical power grid infrastructure components were all shipped to Ukraine, and National Guard has been utterly depleted of weapons and munitions to disarm the continental USA while the open borders invasion continues as planned by traitor Mayorkas and others, right? And that's where silver spikes. See, silver is actually used in the Tomahawk missiles. Silver is used in many of these components in the batteries and the grid, and we need it, along with many other of these commodities and precious minerals as well. This is what collapse looks like, and it's going to get a whole lot worse before it gets better. Huge shout out to Mike, Health Ranger. Now, I want to get right on into cryptocurrency with a focus on crypto in today's episode, but you guys already know the deal. If you're looking to get precious metals, by the way, just hit my links down below for the precious metals or at ZachRector.com. It's all linked up over there. We can get it shipped directly to your door or help you roll over a 401k retirement account because as we've been talking about these metals, gold's already started to move. Silver just now starting its rally, and I think that we got a glimpse of what's going to happen here. These metals are in a shortfall. Demand is only increasing and set to grow by even more as we bring about the Green New Deal and other new technologies, weapons of war, etc., where these critical minerals are used. So while we're stacking, what we're watching here is how much longer can they keep this, story going? And I've always believed that there's a little, my little theory here with Tether is that they do have a relationship or at least an understanding with our government. And Tether is the US government's best friend, is the direct quote here from the Tether CEO. Now, why would that be the case? Because Tether holds more US treasuries than Germany and any other competitor. Now, if the United States government was really worried about, getting, our treasuries purchased, because this is something that I've talked about, is that countries around the world are dropping our treasury bills at the fastest pace since the great financial crisis. And so what's happening is they're dropping the dollar for trade. They're dropping it as a reserve currency, and that includes our treasury bills. Who's going to be the buyers? Well, look who showed up to the tune of some 100+ billion. Tether is one of the largest holders of U.S. treasuries. And in fact, they prefer holding U.S. T-bills versus keeping cash in the bank. Now, I'm not going to go into my theory, and many of us have talked about, right, what's backing Tether and our speculation on why, maybe they don't want to put their quote unquote reserves in the bank. Are the reserves even there, right? But let's just run with it. For now, they've backed it primarily by T-bills, and this makes them one of the largest purchasers of T-bills. Now, if we want to continue U.S. dollar dominance, just like Trump said, and just like many others who understand the situation in the cryptocurrency space, it shouldn't be a left-right issue. If you want the U.S. dollar to continue with the reserve currency status, we need people adopting it. We need more people using it. Well, one way that that's happened is Tether, and they've expanded U.S. dollar dominance by allowing Tether to operate primarily outside the United States. And today it was announced that Coinbase in Europe was going to be delisting Tether. We're going to see that many other institutions and exchanges in Europe will probably be delisting Tether because Tether's not going to come into compliance with MiCA regulations that require you to back it one-to-one with cash. Your stablecoin needs to be backed one-to-one with cash, and you need to hold it in a bank. And the Tether CEO says, well, I don't, he's basically exposing the banking system. He says, yeah, I could put our reserves there, but you guys basically aren't solvent. And look at what happened with Circle and the $3 billion that they got exposed to when Silvergate Bank collapsed. How'd that program work out? So for now, he's selling his Tether, backing it by T-bills. It's a great arrangement for the U.S. government, expanding U.S. dollar dominance, getting more people, Tether showing up to buy treasury bills at a time when everybody else is dumping them. Now, if the United States wants to really get a deal done, let's pass stablecoin legislation, and you're going to see other players like Ripple show up, and I think that Ripple will eventually surpass Circle's USDC and Tether's USDT to become the number one stablecoin by market cap. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of that prediction. Now, in regards to this, SEC Director of Enforcement, and it looks like Fred Rispoli, I know that he listens to the late night shows when I go live, when nobody else is making content. And a huge shout out to Fred because he's just honest. He says, after everybody's gone to sleep and nobody else is making content, then I watch you, Zach. So I appreciate all that watch me on the late night show. But we've been talking about this guy, Gerber Gerwal is his name. He was the Director of Enforcement. But Fred calling him Clown Goober, just like I have been. This guy's absolutely ridiculous. But Fred says, if you want to know what a clown goober is, look no further than the last paragraph of this article. Well, we take a look over here, this article from the New Jersey Globe written today, and it talks about him stepping down from his job. And right here it says, being in the private sector could give Gerwal even more golf time at Ridgewood Country Club, where he used to give away special golf balls decorated with his signature in the number 61. He believed he was the 61st Attorney General of New Jersey, but was actually the 54th. So these are the people that are running our SEC. These guys don't even know where they're at, but they know how to take care of business for their handlers. And that's what's important. And that's why they have filed the appeal in this SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. So he resigns 1 hour before the notice of appeal has gone out. Now we're still waiting for the official Form C, where we can see what they are appealing on. But for now, Stuart Alder, Chief Legal Officer of Ripple, reminds us of some of the most recent, a few of his favorites from the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, quotes from the last time the SEC stuck its hand into that appellate buzz saw. SEC versus Gobble. Here's 3 quotes. We do not agree with the SEC. We are not persuaded by the SEC's arguments. The SEC's counter arguments are unavailing. So despite this appeal, we're going to assume that they'll follow through with it and actually do it. They got completely exposed in the Gobble case. They've been completely exposed in others. And it's going to be our pleasure to continue exposing them as this lawsuit continues on. Not only do we get to take advantage of, buying XRP at cheaper prices than the fundamental value of XRP because of the massive damages and suppression with XRP, not only do we get to take advantage of those cheap prices like 50-cent XRP, and maybe XRP will go even lower. You know what we'll be doing. But amongst picking up more XRP, we also get to expose our government and be a part of saving this country, which is what really gets me excited right now. So in regards to that, I want to share this one here. Jimmy Valley retweeting Chris Larson. And this is the title of this episode here today. XRP, it's an established currency. It was actually declared formally a currency by the Treasury Department, FinCEN, in a settlement in 2015. So this was really the first legal interaction with the U.S. government that Ripple had. And in this litigation, they ended up doing a settlement where they paid a small fine. This was in 2015, and the Treasury Department, FinCEN, declared that XRP was a virtual currency. Now, many people forget about this. It's important to recall this lawsuit and the precedent that it set. The Treasury Department, with FinCEN, declaring it a virtual currency. This was decided in 2015. The SEC has intentionally caused massive damages to participants in the XRP ecosystem. See pages 1 and 4, Statement of Facts, virtual currency known as XRP. Facts, facts, facts. And he drops the Justice Department website right here. Our good friend Jimmy Valley knows just how big the damages have been here. And this goes back to 2015 when XRP was declared a virtual currency. What the SEC did is they tried to put a blanket statement that XRP in and of itself was a security when it was sold on the secondary market, when Ripple sold it to institutions, when Ripple sold it to exchanges, when Ripple sold it to anybody, when you and I sold it to anybody. It was a security investment contract. They got shut down in the courts. They're going to get shut down on appeal no matter what they appeal on. And there's 5 things that they can appeal on: the injunction, disgorgement, the penalty, the programmatic sales, and then the other distributions. Those are the 5 things that they can appeal on. They cannot appeal on the status of XRP not being a security. They also cannot change the fact that this settlement back in 2015 already established XRP as a currency. So despite all the noise, despite everything that we're up against, my thesis remains as bullish as ever, even more bullish after this appeal. I'm going to continue to stack these assets. Sound Money includes XRP, gold, silver, and some others. In the meantime, we are stacking up fiat funny money to stay liquid. We're going to ride out this storm. We're going to expose our government. We're going to save this country and take advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history, having a good time doing it. If you're here with me on this journey, make sure you tap it and smack it. And I'm talking about that thumbs up. When you like the video, it really does help us out. When you can share it out far and wide too, that also helps. Everything else is at zachrector.com, and I couldn't do it without you, like I said. So thank you so much for all of your support. If you're looking to join us in the Discord weekly call tomorrow morning at Saturday, every 11:30 a.m. Saturday, we have our Discord weekly call. We'd love to have you there in the community, in the family. It's at zachrector.com. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.